Well, hello again. I am one student. We are still working on system of equations. This is lesson 632. But before we start, we're going to work on our warm-up. So let's go ahead and look at these two equations. These are actually from your homework, and notice they give you the directions of solve for x and solve for t. So that's what we're going to do right now is we're going to solve for x and solve for t. Oh, technical difficulties already. Here we go. All right, so let's do this now. The first one says solve for x, and this equation should look familiar to you. This is our linear form of our linear equation, and I want to solve for x. So this is the variable that I would like all by itself. So because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to did that again. I'm going to move that b over first. Since this is attached to the m or multiplied by the m, I'm going to subtract both sides of my equation by b. And you notice that y and b are not the same or like terms, so I'm just going to put y minus b equals m times x. And I hope you're seeing the last step. Notice that my m is multiplied by my x, so what am I going to do? I'm going to divide both sides by m. And my equation is now x is equal to y minus b divided by m. So there's my answer. I'm going to box it up so that you know this is where we stop because why we're solving for x. Okay, now my second one for my homework says I need to solve for t. Well, notice I have this a equals p plus p times r times t. And that p by itself right here, I know I have two p's, but this one right here, I'm actually going to subtract p from both sides. Remember, p minus p is 0. This goes away, just like what this one did. And I get a minus p is equal to p times r times t. Now remember, I want to solve for t. I want t by itself. And notice that p, r, and t are multiplied by each other. So to undo, I can multiply or divide both sides by p and by r. Well, what happens to this? P times r over p times r, they both divide into each other, go into 1. So I end up with just t by itself, which is what I want to do. And over here I have a minus p divided by pr. And there's my answer. All right, so that was from your homework. I thought those two were probably the most difficult and helpful to have someone to show you again. All right, let's move on to system of equations. So on Friday, we learned how to use the elimination method. So we noticed that these two are both in standard form, and we could subtract one from the other. Now, before you copy me, so don't copy me yet, but I'm going to try to add down, like what I do for elimination. I'm going to add down. So that gives me 2 plus 2x plus 2x is 4x. 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 10y. And that's 13 plus 5, which is 18. Now this is the elimination method. Have I eliminated any variables yet? No, I haven't. So this is not going to work. So I'm going to erase this because I have not eliminated. What could I do? What would be the scenario I would like to use the elimination method? What I would like is this negative 2 to be, this 2x to be negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this whole equation, the whole thing, even the equals 13, by negative 1. So I'm going to rewrite everything over here. So the first thing is this equation. So the top one, I'm going to multiply negative 1 times 2x, and I get negative 2x. I'm going to multiply negative 1 times 7. I get negative 7y is equal to negative 1 times 13 is negative 13. And then I'm just going to take this existing equation, the bottom equation, I'm going to rewrite it over here. 2x plus 3y is equal to 5. Now I'm going to try my elimination method again. Okay, so what am I going to do? Add down. Well, negative 2x plus 2x is 0. Look at that. I've eliminated my x's. Negative 7y plus 3y is negative 4y. And then negative 13 plus 5 is negative 8. Now I don't care about that 0 anymore, so I'm just going to divide both sides by negative 4 because I want y by itself. And y is equal to negative 2. So there's one part of my two-part answer, and I need to find where x is equal to now. So remember, I can use one of these two equations. I'm just going to choose the bottom one. Remember, I know what y is equal to, so I'm going to rewrite this one. 2x plus 3, and I'm going to use my parentheses because I know what y is. It's negative 2 is equal to 5. So I'm going to rewrite this, but I'm going to do the multiplication. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 is equal to 5. I'm going to add 6 to both sides of my equation. And that gives me 2x is equal to 11. Then divide both sides by 2. And x is equal to 11 over 2. I'm just going to keep it in fraction form. So there is my answers, or we can write it in a coordinate point, which is 11 over 2, negative 2. All right, there's my answer. I'm going to put a box around that because that's my answer. So what do we have to do to use elimination? We have to multiply that top equation by negative 1 so that this went to 0 right here. I multiplied this by negative 1 so that this became negative and I could get 0. All right, let's look at the next example. My next example is, I'll put this in a different color. Well, again, look at that. If I was to add down, and you don't have to write this, if I was to add down, I would get 5x minus y is equal to 11. Well, I did not eliminate any of those variables, so this is not going to work. Oh, it's going to do it one by one. Now it's really being funny, so I'm going to erase this. So I'm going to, I notice that I have a negative 2y here. If I could make this a 2y, I think we would be able to eliminate my y's. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply this whole equation by 2. And I'm going to write it over here. So 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times y is 2y plus 2y is equal to 2 times 10 is 20. And then I'm just going to write the equation on the bottom. 3x minus 2y is equal to 1. Now, I'm going to add down. So let's try this. 4x plus 3x is 7x. 2 minus 2 is 0, so that's gone, which is equal to 21. I'm going to divide both sides by 7. X, remember this goes to 1. X is equal to 3. And remember, I'm not done yet. I need to find that y value, so I'm going to pick this bottom equation. Again, it is student's choice. You can pick either equation. I just picked the one that looks the easiest. So remember, I know what x is, so 3 times 3 minus 2y is equal to 1. I'm going to multiply my 3's together, so I get 9 minus 2y is equal to 1. Then I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. Negative 2y is equal to negative 8. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. Y is equal to positive 4. there's my answer. Okay, so this strategy, I noticed I had a -2 and I multiplied the top by a +2 and it eliminated. So I noticed this, I multiplied by a +2 and it eliminated my y's. That's how you use the elimination method. Okay, a couple more problems. This one's a fun barnyard problem that we can do, and you have to set up the equation for this. So I want you to pause the video and see if you can set up the equation for this. There should be two. There's two equations. So go ahead and pause the video, give it a try. All right, if you're back, hopefully you notice that there's 21 animals total in the barn. So 21 animals total. So that means the chickens plus the sheep equals 21. You also know if they have a total of 56 legs, we want to know how many chickens and how many sheep. So how many legs does a chicken have? Hopefully you noticed it was 2. Plus how many legs does a sheep have? Hopefully you know it's 4, is a total of 56 legs. So what can we do? Well, we can try to use the elimination method to do this. So pause the video and try to see if you can make this equation subtract somehow from this equation so you can use the elimination method. All right, if you're back, what you probably did, and I hope that you did this, is you took this equation and you multiplied it by -2. So this is a +2 here, you can do -2. Now some of you may have chosen -4. That is okay as well. Either one of those would work. So I get -2c, and then we have to multiply, remember we have to multiply it by this, and then we have to multiply it by s, which is -2s, is equal to, and I hope you have your calculators, you always have your calculators and not your phones, 21 times -2 is -42. And now I can write the other equation below it. I have 2c plus 4s is equal to 56. Now I can use my elimination method. So I'm going to add down, well, it looks like the chickens cancel out, so I'm just left with 2 times the sheep is equal to 56 minus 42, which is 14. Then we're going to divide both sides by 2. And how many sheep? There are 7 sheep. Now that I know there's 7 sheep, how many chickens should there be? Well, you can just do it in your head. 21 minus 7 is what? 14. Or you can use the equation. So it's going to be, we know no chickens, but we know sheep. So instead of s, I'm going to use this equation right here, is equal to 21. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And the number of chickens is 14. So your answer should look like this. Chickens is 14, and we have sheep is 7. All right. You have one more problem to do. It is this one. I'm going to give you a hint on this one, but I want you guys to give it a try. I want you to multiply this whole thing by 3. The reason why I did that was because this is a negative and this is a positive. If I multiply this by 3, I get -3x. It's going to eliminate my x's. All right, show me your answer when you're done, and then you will get your stamp for today. Thank you for watching.